all because of a half-truth. This past week, we were doing a study with the Damascus Way with the group that is re-entering society from prison. Men, by their own standard and own agreement, were, we really weren't men of integrity. We lied, we stole, we shot, cheated on our wives. And I put the question out there, what is a man's man? Just open, blind question. Guys, just tell me what it was. They started shooting back this list of different things. And one of the biggest ones that came up was, a man's man is a man of integrity. A man's man is a man that you can take a man at his word. You can take it to the bank. When everything else fails, you can look him in the eye and you know he's not going to waver. That's a man's man. So we went a step further with the guys, and I said, okay, name some. Tell me some modern-day men's men. Who would be worth identifying with today? And they had a really hard time coming up with any names. They all admitted them. There aren't any. Or there are very few. Or I don't recognize. But they did have one common name. One name did come up. Martin Luther King Jr. I think we can all agree that a very high man of integrity, honor, and class. Martin Luther King said this: the true measure of a man is not how he behaves in moments of comfort and convenience, but how he stands at times of controversy and challenge. It's not when the good times are rolling that integrity is going to be the thing we look at. Abram had moved and succeeded, and moved and succeeded, and God was faithful and life was good. Now life is not good at all for anybody, just like our world today. We're all living paycheck to paycheck. We're all concerned about our job. We're all concerned about our kids' education as they cut back and cut back. It's a dark place to live. But King makes it very clear. It's how you stand in the times of controversy and challenge. How will you stand up, Abram? Are you going to stand by your wife and be the man? Or are you going to slink back? How are you going to handle it as you face life today? See, Abram has created a plan. Men like making plans. We like making the way to survive. He hasn't gone into the city yet. We don't know what's going to happen, but he has this possible plan. Pick up the story at verse 14. What does he do now? And sure enough, when Abram arrived in Egypt, everyone spoke of Sarah's beauty. When the palace officials saw her, they sang her praises to Pharaoh, their king, and Sarai was taken into his palace. Then Pharaoh gave Abram many gifts because of her: sheep, goats, cattle, male and female donkeys, male and female servants, and camels. Professionally, his 401k, his portfolio just shot through the roof. He hands his wife over to Pharaoh, and he financially is winning. Windfall. But the Lord sent terrible plagues upon Pharaoh and his household because of Sarai, Abram's wife. So Pharaoh summoned Abram and accused him sharply. "What have you done to me?" he demanded. "Why did you tell me she was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister and allow me to take her as my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and get out of here." Pharaoh ordered some of his men to escort them, and he sent Abram out of the country along with his wife and all of his possessions. Here is one of the most powerful men of the day. The world is in crisis mode. People are coming to the big city to find hope and put life back together, and Abram has a chance to meet this man and sit down one by one, face to face. See, people are looking for us and looking for a compass to guide them. In times of crisis, people are looking everywhere for someone to tell me what's true north, what's real, what's good, what's going to sustain me. And at this moment, Abraham has a chance to maybe share some of his hope, his confidence in the living God. He has his chance to meet with like the president. And he whiffs. He completely backs down. He He settles for self-preservation. And this, it gets really, really ugly. Look at what he says. Look at what Pharaoh's response is. Why didn't you tell me she was your wife? Why didn't you say she is my sister and allow me to take her as my wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and get out of here. He got played. He got taken. He was shown as a fool. He didn't have all the facts. And now he is telling Abram, oh, look, just go. Leave. Abram had a divine opportunity. He had a chance to meet with this man, maybe when the man was most open to hearing about confidence and faith in God. Maybe Pharaoh himself, with all the stuff he had, was like this man in the video clip. I want to hear something different. I want to know if there's another way of doing this, because the world is a painful place right now. I talked with a guy that's a really good friend. He's part of our Team Rochester ministry of the network of churches that we do the food boxes and other things. And he was sharing this week after we had our prayer meeting. He was sharing how he had a chance to sit down with one of the most influential people in our city of Rochester. Very high professional power broker. You would all know his name. And my friend said, I sat there and I was called to his office. I was invited into this moment. And I heard this man telling me why he's done the things he's done for our community, why he hasn't done some things for our community. And I heard half-truth after half-truth after half-truth. He wanted me to let him off the hook, and he wanted me to say it was okay. I understand the circumstances are terrible in our world today, and you're doing the best you can. And my friend said, I sat there and I wanted to give him the truth. I wanted to share the hope I have in Christ and let him know that in spite of the way it is, we can go a different direction. It was a one-on-one meeting. And then he told me, as he's relaying this message, says, I still am in the process why I didn't do it. Why didn't I speak the truth? Why didn't I take my shot and see what God would do? See, there may be people in our lives that are looking for us to speak the truth. As hard as it is, they may be dying for someone to give us. Men and women, that's integrity. When your basis and your belief system is so strong, you have to give it the real facts, the real truth. People may not always like it, people may not always receive it, but when you show your confidence in God, people have to take notice. People have to ask questions. We begin to step up and take those moments as opportunities, or we can have situations like this where not only does Abram not do it, the whole idea was move to town, get a better life, survive the famine, and now Pharaoh says, get out, leave. The place they came for hope, they're now kicked out of, and they're back out in the dark, cold, harsh world. Because of his integrity, it slipped and it fell. See, the way we lead our life affects other people. The way we do things affects other people drastically. Think of how Sarah is going to feel. Think of husband and wife walking out of town and she head slaps him. You putz. You hung me out to dry. I'm your wife. We came here for a better life and now we got nothing? I mean, that relationship is going to take a while to mend back. That relationship is hurt because of the lack of integrity. The lack of integrity with this Pharaoh, this king, this leader. It is shot. It affects other people. I talked to some people twice in 6 months. 2 different people. And one of these phone calls came this week. You talk about how integrity affects other people, the ripple effect. This week my telephone rang and I talked to a person who was literally sitting in a car in the parking lot at their employment on their lunch break in tears.